again, Rudy's Resurrection fans. It's been a long time since I posted anything because I haven't been working on the truck because work and life and a lot of other things have gotten in the way. No, I have not given up on it. No, I didn't sell it for scrap. Still here, excited to get going on it again. If the weather's warming up, you can see the dogwoods are starting to bloom here in the south. I think today is March 13th, 14th, something like that. And I'm getting ramped up to get going again on the truck. So just want to give you a few quick little updates on what I've done here and there. On some weekends I have had a chance to work on it a little bit here and there. So we'll go through that, give you some updates, and then we'll jump back in, get this cab mounted. Good to see you again. So I've got the cab kind of sitting on the firewall, or the front of the cab there. And I just want to give you a quick update on what I've been doing underneath. So initially what I did was, once I got the lower part of the A-pillars finished and this inside kind of solid, I just ran a 1-inch piece of tubing from the front A-pillar all the way back and then tacked it here at the front part of the B-pillar. And additionally, where I originally cut the floor pan or the floor out of the cab was right in front of where this brace runs across. Runs all the way across. And so I cut a couple pieces of square tubing and I just tied that brace in with that bar running all the way back on both sides. And that worked pretty well, just to kind of tie that in. And that made this floor really strong. And then back here at the B-pillar, I just put a vertical piece from where this ended, right at the outside of the B-pillar, which I'll show you here on the inside. Yeah, it's a little hard to see. But I just kind of ran that down to meet the rocker panel and tied it into the rocker panel. And then once I got all of my B-pillar pieces kind of fabbed in here, and then I closed in the piece I cut out of the cab corner there at the bottom to accommodate for the width of the Crown Vic frame. I know this kind of looks like garbage, but it's all solid, like really solid. And then I cut a piece of 16 gauge. I think it's 36 inches long, 4.5 inches tall. And then I just brought that, tacked that in here on the inside of the this square tubing, and then also just spot welded all the way back that piece to the rocker panel. So I did that on both sides. So here's the passenger side, same deal, all the way back. I've got this piece of 16 gauge tacked in here. There's my little remnant coming down from the B-pillar. Got the B-pillar closed up. Got this bit, I just used actually some scrap 18 gauge to kind of close that up. And that's sealed up. And then, so kind of what it looks like on the inside, this is the lower part of the B-pillar. There's where that little short piece of 1-inch tubing runs down. That's tied in with this piece that's running all the way from the front. So that's going to be, or that's tacked to this lower hinge portion replacement in the A-pillar. And that's tacked to the floor pan. And then I'm going to weld, basically just run a weld all along here, down, and then all along the remnant of the step plate here, which is, I just used a very small portion of that Repro step plate. And I'm going to just kind of redo all this lower part of the B-pillar to tie that down into here. I can do that later actually, because I can get good access to it. Everything on the back side is good and solid, so this is going to take, it's going to be kind of tedious kind of getting that in. And then that's pretty much where we are. So again, here's the little bit that's tied in with that brace that runs across, which the bench seat bolts through that brace in the front and then the back as well, and then it runs all the way across. And so that really made it pretty darn strong. I mean, this floor right here. So now when I get it back down onto the Crown Vic cab, it's pretty much time to kind of start mating this up with that remnant of of the Crown Vic floor pan, the front portion. So that's going to be the next step. And I've cut those horizontal braces out that were in here. So I got the vertical bracing in until I get the firewall kind of tied in. I wanted to leave those vertical pieces in. So the next step is going to be getting the cab back on the frame and then starting to get it tacked together. So I'm over at my local scrapyard and I was looking around for a seat for the truck, and I came across this old twin I-beam frame, and I got to looking a little closer and I noticed this. And the first thing I looked at was the lower B pillars. Look at those puppies. Great shape. So I think this is going home with me today. This cab is pretty rough shape. Got a lot of rust around the drip rail, etc. But those are good. So I'm going to take this home. So I just got back from my local salvage yard where I'd gone over this morning, just kind of looking around to see if I could find seats for the cab. And lo and behold, I found this 65, 66 cab. And as we say in the South here, every now and then even a blind hog could find an acorn. And as it happens, the lower B pillar portions of this cab are really solid. The cab's got a lot of rot in it in other places, but on both sides, these are really good and solid. So I'm going to cut these out, and that's going to go in my cab. So I'm not going to have to fab this up here where this kind of comes down to make this bend. So hopefully it's going to be a good tight seal with my weather stripping, and that's going to save me a whole lot of time. The other interesting thing about this cab is it was originally the same color as mine, green. Kind of interesting. Okay, so the lower B pillar portions that I cut out of the donor cab are in. I got them in on both sides. They went in really nicely. Just had to do a lot of trimming, that kind of thing, to kind of get them to fit. But overall, I think it's going to be a whole lot better than anything that I certainly could have fabbed up to make that seal well with the weather stripping on the door. So nice and solid. Lower B portions in. So I've got the cab now tacked to the Crown Vic floor remnant and firewall portion. I've just got it tacked in a few places. Right here, the back corner of it, tacked to this square tubing. In the front here, where this portion of the Crown Vic portion made it up with the square tubing, tacked it there. You can see you just put like a little piece there, sort of support it. I've got it tacked right here on the center, where this portion of the truck cab basically came to rest right here on the drive shaft or transmission tube here. And then in the passenger side corner, kind of right up here where the firewall mated with the portion of the original cab, just tacked it there a little bit. Over here, and again in this corner, and then let me crawl out here of the cab, and then on both sides where this portion where I've cut made contact with the cab, I just tacked it there as well. So I've got a lot to get boxed in and sealed up here, but I was confident enough to where I felt like I could cut those braces out of the cab, so they're gone now. So I've got good access to the inside of the cab. And now it's going to come to the part where I'm just going to basically start closing this part up. I got to figure out how I'm going to do all that. I think I'm just going to put a flat piece here to come up here. I'll probably cut this piece out. That piece is so rotten, and then just made it up with the floor there. But that's where we are, cooking along. But what I'll probably do next is take the whole thing back off the frame, just lift it up and either put it up on my stand there that I got my bed sitting on. I may put it on that so it's up in the air and I can kind of get to it and work on it to kind of start sealing up, you know, all this part here, putting the metal in this space here, all the way over on both sides, and that's going to be the next bit. So there we are. So I'll probably leave off here with this portion of the cab mounting and pick back up when I've got it up off the frame again, and I'm gonna be getting more metal put in here. So alright, that's kind of how everything looks. I got all this bottom part of the cowl cavity sealed up, and at the very bottom here I think you can kind of see I put a piece of 14 gauge in the very bottom of that, and then you can see where I drilled a hole, and I kind of made this a little bit proud right here just by shaping this, and so hopefully the water will drain to that hole on both sides and run out. But what I'm at this point planning on doing is probably just sealing up this cowl somehow, because I'm not going to use those interior vents. I'm not going to need those, and all this is going to do is just going to collect pine straw like crazy and debris. It's going to fall down in there and potentially rust that out again. What I'm not going to, obviously going to close up is that little weep hole there for the wiper depression where the wiper arm goes in. The water is still going to get down in there, and so that's going to drain down in that cow channel. And I'm hoping that's going to be pretty much all the water that's going to come out of that under there on both sides. And so I'm just going to seal this up on that side, on the passenger side, because of where my air intake is going to be coming into the air conditioner and heater and everything. The air coming into the vents. I'm probably going to put some type of vent material or something like that, or fab something up there so air can still come in there. Because the next thing I've got to do as well is, once I get all my air box and everything back, it's not called an air box, I'm not sure what it's called, but back up in there, I got to route it into that cavity somehow. Either go directly into where that vent was, or straight up into that cowl channel. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but that's going to be the next thing that's going to need to be done. So I'll sign off here. See you next time.